Hey guys, so I just finished taping the first part of this two-part bridal tutorial. So the first part was sort of the foundation and the lip routine that I did for what I have on right now. And now I'm going to tape the eye portion of the tutorial. So I've tried to make it as simple as possible, really neutral, really simple. One thing to remember is if you don't wear a lot of makeup, you don't need to feel the need to go in, super caked on heavy makeup and something that's not you. It doesn't need to be super dramatic. I've tried to make it as simple as possible, especially for people that don't have super high skill level if you're going to do this on yourself. Now, a couple things to note. You should definitely practice your makeup routine before the day of your actual wedding. You want to definitely try to get, especially for your eye makeup, waterproof products. So waterproof eyeliner and waterproof mascara. I'm a crier and I know I'm going to cry. So if you're going to cry, it's just going to wipe all the way down your face and it's going to look awful. So let's get started. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. I haven't done the other eye, so I'm just going to do it one and then the other. I'm probably going to have to edit the video down a bit, but I'm going to try to keep all the important pieces in there. You just might not see both eyes. So the first step, and this is something I do every day, is I prep my eye with the MAC Paintpot in the color Painterly. And I just actually purchased, L'Oreal has a product that's supposed to help. It's called L'Oreal Decrease. It's supposed to help keep your eyeshadow from creasing and also give you longer lasting wear out of your eyeshadow. So I prepped my eye. Now we're going to go in with the eyeshadow. I have picked one palette to use for the eyeshadows. It's a Clinique palette. It's called Ivory, Bisque, and Bronze Satin. It looks just like this. It's a very nice subtle highlight and a really nice sort of neutral brown. Nothing too dramatic, nothing too bright. I am going to give you an option to sort of darken the crease up a little bit more if you want the eye to be a little bit more dramatic than what I'm going to do. So I'm just taking my Sonia Kashuk sort of shader brush and I've loaded the highlight color on there. And I'm just going to sweep that all over my eye, basically the entire lid, making sure to get into the sort of corners of your eyes. The goal here, I think, for me personally, is to sort of have bright, awake looking eyes. And so one way to get that look is to make sure you get a highlight color right here in the corner and sort of right underneath the eyelash line. It's going to make you look really awake, and it's going to bring a nice focus to the sort of center of your eyes. So I'm just going all over my eyelids with that. Okay. Definitely you want to make sure that you pluck and tweeze your eyebrows, if you need to do a little maintenance. If you're going to do waxing or something like that the week, I would definitely recommend doing it at least a week in advance. I know the first time I went, I kind of had a bad experience. It was the day of a dance, and the waxing was just so harsh on my skin that it actually ripped my skin open, and I had these little scabs all over my eye by the end of the night, and so that was definitely not attractive to go to a high school dance at. So I've got that basically all over my eye. You can see it's kind of brightened my eye up, making sure that I'm going to go get into the corners again with that highlight. Okay, now I'm going to use the same brush. In fact, I think I used the same brush for the entire tutorial. I'm going to go in with the brown color. I'm going to focus it at the bottom of the outer corner, and then I'm going to kind of shade it up above my crease. I'm not going to make too dramatic of a crease, but I do want sort of a nice brown there. Kind of carry that all the way across the eye. And you also do want to think about that you're going to have these pictures for the rest of your life. So you don't want to do something that's going to be too trendy or too dated. You want to try to stick with classy, kind of timeless sort of pieces of makeup and jewelry and the dress if at all possible. If you think about looking back at the 80s and all those brides back then with the poofy sleeves and the crazy lace and all that stuff, you look at those pictures and you just think, man, what were they thinking? So you want to try to avoid making those kinds of mistakes on yourself. So I basically applied this crease color to the outer corner and just above my crease a little bit, and I'm going to just go a little bit darker, and I'm going to blend sort of in a circular fashion, sort of all the way across the lid, making sure to blend the entire way. You don't want strong, harsh lines anywhere. So I don't know if you can see it really well. I know that the next stage is to take sort of a small brush that you can get underneath the eyelid, and we're going to use the same shadows. I'm going to first go in with the light color, making sure that if I haven't gotten that sort of corner color where I said to highlight, that we're going to get it a little bit more. We're going to go about halfway with this sort of light color right under the eyelid. This is going to help to make us look bright and awake. Now I'm going to go in with the darker color, and I'm going to go on the outer half of the lid, and I'm going to carry that kind of up to where I brought that color in the crease. Just blend it out a little bit. Okay, so that's basically the eyeshadow application. Now if you want to go in a little bit more dramatic, then by all means, like I said, do that. I would recommend doing something not too much darker, but I think I have the perfect color for that, and that would be this color right here. It's a matte color. It's called Satin Taupe, and it's a little bit darker than the color in the palette that I used. Now what I'm going to do is, and I think this is pretty important, it's not something that I do usually, but to sort of fill in my eyebrows just slightly with a little bit of color. And I actually don't usually do this, like I said, so I don't have an eyebrow sort of palette or kit. But I do have an eyebrow pencil, and I'm going to use the sort of lightest, most neutral eyeshadow that I have. This is from MAC. It's a color called Kid. And I'm just going to lightly sort of go over my brows, trying to keep the color on the actual hair and not getting it too much on the skin. Now, if you need to sort of fill because you don't actually have hair there, then you might have to touch the skin in order to get that color to stick to your face, but that's kind of what we're going to do. So you can see from one to the other. Now this color is a little bit dark, so what I'm going to do is take the brush side of this pencil, brush it out a little bit so that it blends the colors out a little bit more. So the next stage would be to apply eyeliner. So I'm going to use a MAC Technakohl liner, and this one's called Plink. It's a really nice sort of goldy brown color. And I'm going to just apply it lightly to the top and halfway down the bottom of my lashes, trying to keep as close as you can to your lid. So I'm just going to do the outer half and then meet them in the corner. If you've made it too thick, you can blend it out with sort of a smudge brush. I'm okay with a little bit thicker eyeliner, especially since the eye makeup other than that is pretty subtle, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, I think the next and most important step to sort of the eye look is getting really curled eyelashes. So you're going to curl your eyelashes with an eyelash curler. Now, I'm going to use this Telescopic Explosion Mascara. It's from L'Oreal. This one has this really funky wand, and I like it because it allows you to focus on specific sort of sections of your eyelash. You definitely want to spend a few minutes making sure that you get length and sort of depth. Now, it's a personal preference how long or thick you want your eyelashes to be. If you want a more dramatic look, you could definitely go and put some false eyelashes on. But that's not something I normally do, so that probably won't be what I do on my wedding day. And we're going to get the bottom. So here's where I'm going to go in. I'm going to maybe just darken up the crease a little bit. I'm going to use the same brush, going in with that Satin Taupe, very lightly, and I'm just going to kind of apply it sort of in the same area that we already added this color, but not too dark. Like I said before, I really don't want this to be overly dramatic. Alright, so that's basically the eye tutorial. This is what it looks like up close. It's really subtle, really simple, nothing too dramatic. I think the focus is mostly on sort of the eyelashes being long, having a little bit of an outer crease color. I hope you enjoyed. I had a really fun time actually putting this together. It's not something I've ever actually thought about before. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.